What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today's video is going to be intake, prison intake. But before we get into it, look at this shirt. I am the mother of dragons. And I know, everyone hates how Game of Thrones ended. But listen, without giving any spoilers, I knew exactly how it was gonna end. And I am like so good at this kind of thing. I was like, nope, this is gonna happen. She's gonna do that. He's gonna do that. Boom. And it all happened that way. I even have the receipts to prove it, you guys. I can pull up receipts where I texted family members and I'm like, nope, this is gonna happen this week. This is what's gonna happen with that. Like, I'm so good at that. I'm not like psychic, but I'm really good at predicting how shows are gonna end. Target, $12. Okay, but anyway, let's get into this video. Oh wait, before we get into the video, I know it's gonna be like a crazy long intro. Make sure you hit the notification bell. So many of you were telling me that you're not getting notified that I am uploading, so make sure you hit that little bell. Okay, now let's get started. So prison intake is a very nerve-wracking thing. It's probably the worst day of your life. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. It's, you know, when you start a job, I'll try to relate it back to that because I know a lot of people have not been to prison. I know there's tons of people that watch my channel that have never been to prison. You know, when you're new and you're first starting a job, like day one of your job, you're a little nervous, you don't know how people are gonna be, you have like butterflies, you know, there's a little bit of stress because you don't know where you're going or what you're doing, you have no idea, right? A new job is kind of exciting. Prison's not, but I'm trying to relate it so everyone can understand. That's kind of what it feels like to go to prison, except for it's traumatizing. But I'm just trying to relate it back so everyone understands because I know a lot of people just haven't been. So, the last time I have ever been sent to prison, and the last time I will ever be sent to prison, claiming it, I was woken up at 4:30 or so in the morning. Now I did get a heads up. I knew that we were leaving. I gave all my stuff away, but I got woke up at 4:30. So did 5 other women and a bunch of men. So we all get woken up at 5:30. And they make us get all our stuff, roll up is what they say. So roll up our bed and all our stuff. And we go to the front where they put us in individual cells, not individual cells. They put the women in a cell and they put the men in a cell. And just the last facility that I was at, they put the women in like a clear, like it was a visiting area. They put us in a holding cell and the men in a holding cell so we could see them through the clear glass. And we're just kind of talking back and forth and I'm tired. It's 4:30. I'm not trying to like talk to the guys or whatever. And there was one girl with me who I'm still friends with on Facebook. There was one girl with me that was terrified, never been before. She's shaking, she's nervous, she's almost in tears. So I'm trying to be like calm for her, even though like I know this is gonna be hella stressful. So the correctional officers pull us out one by one. They have us, you know, sign our discharge papers. I don't think it's called that. They have us sign a bunch of shit saying you're leaving the facility. They give us back our property just to look at for a second. And they're like, do you want to take your clothing that you came in the street with you to prison? You can take it with you and the prison can throw it away or you can have it mailed. But if you have it mailed to somewhere, a friend, a family member, you have to pay for that. And if you don't have money to pay for it right then, you can't get your things sent. So I came in with shoes, a hoodie, pants, shirt, bra, underwear. And I said, no, nope, just go ahead and throw that out. I don't have the money for it. So I had to just throw all of my things out, cell phone, whatever. I couldn't send any of my stuff back. So New York does not do it that way. New York holds your things for you and you will leave in the same outfit you came in. Arkansas is like really stupid. Anyway, we will get there. So it's 4:30 in the morning. At this particular time, I was pregnant. I was 6 months pregnant. And the guard that was taking us to prison is a guard that absolutely hated me, you guys. Hated me. I would say her name, but I'm not gonna do that because she was on one side, I was on the other. You know what I mean? Like she was on one team, I was on a different team, and that's why we didn't get along. So I'm not gonna throw her any shade. You know, she had a job to do. I get it, but we just butted heads and she didn't like me at all. She kind of treated me like crap and I gave it right back to her. So we had a 6-month-long, 6-month-long issue, me and her. And I saw her come in as a new guard and she was trained and you know, it just wasn't good. I have stories for days, but just to stay on topic of prison intake, she was very happy to be transporting me to prison because she knew I was gonna get out of the jail because I caused some problems. And she goes to put the belly chain on me and I said, back up. And she's like, we're not gonna go through this again. And I'm like, you're not gonna put that chain on me. So I called for the, what's it called in county jail? The sergeant or whatever. And I'm like, yo, listen, you're not putting that on me. Lock me up, take me to SAG. I don't care. You're not putting the belly chain on me. So when you're pregnant and being belly chained, it just not only messes with your mind, but it could be dangerous. You're not supposed to shackle a pregnant woman's feet or her stomach. However, the feds passed a law to where federal inmates, if they are pregnant, they will not be belly chained and their feet will not be shackled. Because if you're 6 months pregnant and your feet are shackled, you're walking like a penguin, you could fall. It's dangerous. So the sergeant came out and said, it's fine, just put her in the handcuffs in the box, it's fine. So the box is a little, it's kind of the size of this. And it goes in between the handcuffs so you can't pick the lock. That's what it's for. So we roll out and I get my seat by the window because I was a little pushy about it. If we're gonna be in the car or we're gonna be in the bus for 5 hours, like I wanna sit by the window. So I sat by the window and you know, the girls are talking, chit-chatting it up, and already I have to pee. Now, I had just peed, but when you're 6 months pregnant, you have to pee all the time. And this was just so tough for me. So I already have to pee and I don't even want to make a big deal about it because I know they're not going to stop. So the prison was 5 hours away from the county jail. The guard, the CO, is not allowed to stop the van or the bus, whatever they're transporting you on, until you get to the facility. So gas has to be stocked up, y'all have to pee before we go, they're not gonna stop because you're hungry and they're not gonna stop because you have to pee. It's a security risk. And they do everything under the umbrella of safety and security. So, therefore, your girl almost peed her pants. I have known women to put pads on and they pee themselves. And they use multiple pads, like layers, as a diaper to pee in the van because it's a 5 hour wait. Now, I would rather get a bladder infection than pee myself in front of everyone. Like, I'm dumb, I guess. I don't know. But, like, I just couldn't bring myself to pee. I just couldn't do it. And I think Orange is the New Black had a scene. The girl was, like, doing that, and Piper was, like, completely clueless. Yeah. So women do that. I was not going to do that. So I remember being in physical pain when we finally got to the prison. So we pull up to the prison, and any maximum security prison is a very intimidating thing. There is barbed wire, there is fencing, there is towers and a perimeter. So there's towers and everyone knows, like you can't go onto a prison compound and they don't know that you're there. So if there's a vehicle, if there's a pigeon, like they know about it, they know, they see it. So there's towers, then there's the facility where there's a fence inside of the fence, and a truck drives in the middle of the perimeter, and there's probably a third fence. There's barbed wire. So we pull up to Sallyport, which is the back of the prison, and there is intake inmates that work there, and they move the gate for you for the van to come in. So that's kind of the first thing that you see is you see the fence, you see the barbed wire, you see the towers, you see the guards, and you see the inmates that work out there. And the inmates kind of run along the fence to push it open so that the van can come in. Well, the first thing everyone has to do is go pee, but you can't. You have to wait. You have to wait until they tell you that you're going to go in an intake room to go to the bathroom. So they line us up outside of the van, and they're like one by one taking us into this little room. This little room is not intake. This little room is, it's a strip search room, and there is a toilet in there. So all of the females go into the room. The men are across the street at a different prison. So the women, and this is McPherson prison that I'm talking about. So the women are all in this room together, and one by one you go into a room inside the room where you take all of your clothes off. The intake officer stares at you naked, not intake. This is the pre-intake. I don't know if I'm making sense, but the officer is looking at you. It's a female officer for females. She's looking at you and she's writing down all of your tattoos or scars or markings, and you're not really treated like a human in this moment. You feel so, oh my God. I mean, it's just literally the worst day of your life ever. Then it's time to make sure you don't have anything in your body. So they open your mouth. They make sure that your mouth, or you have to open your mouth and like pull everything apart, make sure there's nothing in there, make sure there's no piercings anywhere, make sure that there's nothing like tucked anywhere, under boobies, under arms, nothing. There's nothing in your hair. They make sure there's nothing at at all attached to your body. So then they have to make sure there's nothing inside of you. And this is basically the most horrifying experience you will ever have. And it really is sad that somehow in my addiction, I blocked this out, and I've gone through this many times, coming in and out of county jails and then prison. You have to bend over, you have to pull your butt cheeks apart, and you have to expose your entire body, and you have to cough. You have to cough so hard that they physically see you coughing down there to make sure nothing is gonna fall out, to make sure that you have not put drugs or anything inside of your body. It's disgusting, it's horrible, and you will feel like less than a human. And if you're not doing it right, they will yell at you and scream at you and tell you that you're not doing it right. And oh my God, I can't even there's no words to describe this moment. There are no words to describe this horrifying moment. So then, once all of that is said and done, then you can go to the bathroom. Once they make sure that you've not brought anything onto the compound, then you're allowed to go pee. Then they took me to another building, and there's other girls there too. They took us to another building, that is the intake building, and that is actually in the same building as the prison. So, one by one, you take a shower. Now this shower, you guys, if you've ever done the ALS challenge, the ice bucket challenge, you will know that pouring a bucket of ice water on you makes your body it kind of hurts, right? It's painful. And that was the whole ice bucket challenge, to let you know what it kind of feels like to have that. So we're in intake. They give you lice shampoo that smells disgusting, and the smell stays with you for a few days. They tell you to wash every part of your body with this lice soap and lice shampoo. Then you have to rinse off. The water in intake was so cold that it literally burned my scalp. It burned my scalp. So that was hard. And there are inmates walking in and out of intake. There's no privacy. People are seeing you naked. And I think that's kind of the first thing that people are like, oh my God, how'd you get over showering with other people? How'd you get over this and that? You get used to being naked in front of strangers. And as weird as that sounds, that is the normal in prison. So I'm shaking, I'm in pain, my head is on fire because that ice water hurts so bad on my head, and it takes a minute to wash all that shit out of your hair. So then they put you in another room. They give you, how many is it? 3 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, 3 class A's is what they're called, underwear, bra, socks. They give you a bag to put the underwear, bra, socks in for the laundry. It's like a mesh bag that you're gonna put in laundry. They give you a handbook that is not worth the paper it's written on, I swear. They ask you who you want to call in case you're killed. It's a very traumatizing day. It's very surreal. It's almost like you're out of your own body when this is going on, and it's like, is this really happening? So you have to fill out all this stuff, your emergency contact that they will only call if you are killed, okay? And then I've even seen articles where body parts go missing, and I will leave the article that I'm talking about in the description box below. It's horrifying. So then you're taken to then you're given a tray. You have maybe 5 minutes to eat the tray from the chow hall that a porter has brought to you. A porter or a runaround is someone that works, it's their job to bring intake food or go to SEG or whatever, or clean things. There's different jobs in prisons, and I should do an entire video on that. But then we're taken to medical. They do a little evaluation, blood pressure, blood whatever. They make sure that you're not having a heart attack, basically. And that's where they were like, oh, you're pregnant. We're gonna sign you off to go to Wrightsville unit, which was a medium security prison. So I was only at the maximum security at this point before I gave birth for a couple of weeks. I was sent to medium, kicked out of medium security for getting into a fight, and then sent back to the max. So, but just for the purpose of prison intake, they go through all your medical history. Do you have HIV? Do you have this illness, that illness? Things like that. Have you ever had tuberculosis? And they just walk you through, like kind of in a doctor's office, they walk you through any illnesses that you may have. Then you get maybe 30 seconds with a psychologist to say, are you gonna kill yourself today? I need you to say no, because if you say yes, we're gonna put you in a pickle suit. That's basically what that is. Then I think this facility has stopped doing this, but at the time, they give you a mattress and a buggy with sheets and all your stuff in it so that you can wheel the buggy to your housing unit. And I think for me it was housing unit 1, barracks 6. And you're supposed to wheel the buggy down there and get set up with your bunk assignment, like your bunk number and everything. But they left us in the hallway for 5 or 6 hours. And they did that because it was not shift change yet. So you would have intake people sitting in the hallway for 5 or 6 hours, unable to move, and they only let you use the bathroom if you're like physically crying and making a scene. So that was hard. So all day I've peed maybe twice, you know, and that is just a really tough thing. So, but to be fair, I wasn't drinking any water, so whatever. Finally, they let us go to our housing unit. And the way that McPherson does it is they have lifers that are in there as, what do they call them? I forget what they call them, but they're basically there to tell all of the new people all the rules on the compound, where you find your, like where the schedule is. You'll have to go to classification to get a job and get a new housing unit. So they kind of just walk you through, you know, they show you the ropes basically. And at that moment, I didn't want to hear anything anyone had to say. I wanted to go to the bathroom, set up my bed, and just be left alone. And I remember that day, this lifer was trying to tell me, oh, you can't share. You might have came from the county jail with her, but you can't share things. And I said, we can't go to commissary to get shower shoes. Please get out of my face. So if you've seen Orange is the New Black, because this girl was like trying to like tell me like, no, you can't do that. And she was kind of shitty. If you've seen Orange is the New Black, you'll know Piper had to make shower shoes with pads. So I was just friends with a girl from county jail and we shared shower shoes for 2 weeks. The prison gave us $12 and that's called indigent. So $12 would be allotted to you within 2 weeks of your arrival to get only hygiene items, shower shoes, maybe shampoo, bar soap, those kinds of things. You couldn't get food, you couldn't get anything like that. You couldn't get anything extra. I think you could get like 1 stamp envelope, 1 pad of paper. So it was tough. It was really tough, but you kind of just get through. You get through it, you know? And I want to say that my first day was probably the hardest day in any place that I was at, in any jail or any prison I was at. That first day was the hardest day because you just have to succumb to the fact that you're not getting out unless you're Brian Bruton. You're not getting out and you're stuck here until they tell you that you can leave. So within a couple of weeks, I was transferred to the Wrightsville unit that I stayed there for a little bit, and I had to go through the exact same process. I didn't have to be deloused, but the same process. They strip you, they make you squat and cough, they go through all your things. Certain facilities, if you've been transferred from one person to another, will throw out the things that you already paid for because they don't sell them on their commissary. So it's a really difficult thing to have to go through. Before I end this video, I just want to say that I deserved every day of my prison sentence. Was it horrifying? Absolutely. Am I a felon and will I be a felon for the rest of my life? Yes. It's really hard to make it if you have a felony on your background, but it is not impossible. If I could sit here sober, happy, sharing with you my story, a success story off of parole, you can do it too. And I genuinely didn't understand that when I was breaking the law and I kept going back. I didn't understand that this life was possible, but I'm living, breathing proof that it is. Just because you have a felony does not mean that you can't have a successful life. And I hope I can be a good example of that. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, and I'll see you in my next one.